Life is good. This is a company called Life is Good. They make high quality uh, shirts that fit out of decent materials, and they have original designs that they create. The opportunity for them came after, if you read their story, the typical long, painful struggle to find themselves. And then they got to a moment of fun where it was just a big game. And it started with the design of a character. It turned into a product line that's good. They have stores and they have a website. This is everything about rethinking the prime mover advantage idea. Everything. This story, which is one of many. And what I found, and because I know the apparel industry well, because I worked in it for years, so I understand how these product lines are manufactured, put together, designed, merchandised, branded, sold, and how all these different markets work, distribution channels, and whether it's online, own your own store, franchise it out, license the name, because I worked in the industry for 15 years in lots of different capacities, owning my own business. And it was originally a small family business I built up, and then I owned it, and I didn't want to be in it, but it gave me the lifestyle I wanted. So it was worth it for that reason, even though it was not exactly what I wanted to be doing, and it was really hard a lot of the time. Didn't matter. I got what I wanted out of it. And then when it was time, I had to leave, and I walked out with some money to allow myself to do another transition. But getting out was key. And the reason I'm saying this is that I couldn't get a decent t-shirt. That simple. Nordstrom can't make a decent t-shirt that fits anymore, from what I can tell. And it's hard to figure it out because the online shopping system is so confusing. And when I say confusing, I don't mean I'm stupid and I can't figure out how to buy something on Amazon or online, or even going into a store and buying it. What I'm saying is I can't figure out where the quality is. Quality meaning it fits, the fabric's decent, and it works for me based on my own budget and what I care about. And what I care about is I want it to look right, fit, and last. Years ago, there was a company in Chicago called Threadless, I think. And I bought some incredibly cool, I still have them, shirts from them. And it was crowdsourced design. It's awesome. I should have brought one because they're so cool. And they're really cool. And I bought them, and some of them just fell apart immediately. And I'm like, okay, fine. It was a lot of money too, because it's a great idea, entrepreneur idea. So we're going to get into prime mover advantage rethought in terms of these stories. So if you want a quick, I'm not your person. I'm getting help explaining my company, the Entrepreneur Experience, brought to you by Red Pill Pathway, because I can't explain it. And I'm told, nobody knows what you're talking about, Larry. And I said, I know that's going to have to change. I can't do it. I need help, and I'm getting help from my group. I'm not going to pay somebody in marketing $100,000 or no. I've tried that. Doesn't work. Doesn't work for me. It didn't work. Doing it myself doesn't work either. So I'm talking about my experience. And if you can't listen for 30 minutes, that's fine. This isn't going to go on forever. We're going to have good front end. Hey, here's what this is. You want to come in? Here's how it works. Messaging platform stuff coming, because I can't do it. It's too complicated, and I created it. So I'm spinning around in my own chocolate factory, wondering how the hell am I going to describe all this stuff? Can't. I got help. What I can do is talk about these topics in a way that hopefully is useful and understandable because it's important now. Very important. You want crap? You want to keep buying stuff that doesn't fit? You want to keep doing things and being part of things that you don't like and you don't want to be part of, or follow a prime mover in Elon Musk and be one of his Oompa Loompas. That's an option. You can do that. It's an option. For many of us, the answer is no, thank you. I'll do something else. And that's what I'm talking about. And that's what I stand for. Something else, not that. Not that. Something else. So rethinking the prime mover advantage. And if you want to understand prime mover, Ayn Rand has a book called Atlas Shrugged. And the idea of the prime mover, it's fascinating. And she's brilliant and brought a lot to the society in the 1950s. Really innovated, came from the Soviet Union. Soviets destroyed her father's business, original creation, real business. And she made up her name. She was Jewish. It was like Irene Rosenthal. Such a great American story. No, my name's Ein. Where are you from? Sweden? Where? Ein. So nobody could figure out where she was from. Rand, because her typewriter was a Rand. I think that's the story. And she named herself on the airplane. And where'd she go? Hollywood. Badass. Love it. Today, we're in a little different world, having said all that. So the technology platform of Threadless was very exciting to me. I'm like, oh, all these great designers, they put up their designs, crowdsourcing, the crowd votes on the designs, those designs surface, and then I can buy cool t-shirts that don't look like all the other t-shirts that I like. Until the quality became crap. And then I don't want to use it anymore because the quality is bad. These people know how to make clothes. And if I go like this, I got a t-shirt now. And they even make plain white ones. So now I have a t-shirt company. Found it. I bought one of Nordstrom's house brands, and it's already falling apart a month later. It's cheaper. It's hard to tell because it looks great. And I'm like, I love this shirt, but it looks, whatever your thing is. You like technology, good technology. You like plumbers that know what they're doing. You like clothes that last. You like energy healers that understand how energy works so they don't put bad chi into your system, projecting into your own body, other people's sicknesses and disease into your body because they're a massage therapist or an energy healer or shiatsu, and they don't know what they're doing. Acupuncture. This is going on in all aspects of the society. And it's, to me, an opportunity because that's how my mind works. So how do I win, thrive, and make the impact I want in our society, globally and locally, based on figuring out my own way? And I just call that flexible founder mode. So I have so much to say, it's hard to organize it for you in a way that makes it simple and understandable when there's no reason to trust me or anybody else. So over time, I know it'll be fine. So I don't get concerned about it anymore, despite the fear that comes up and we all must deal with as entrepreneurs, coaches, service providers, or anybody who wants to pay their own way. It's very difficult. And this is where we get to the prime mover advantage rethought, how to beat Elon's Oompa Loompas. And what I see is when somebody has humility, patience, and is heart-centered, they include other people in their project. So they're not looking for a team of Oompa Loompas to follow them around, to boss around and say, work 7 days a week. No, I'm sorry, I'm out. unless I have to, because, I got to pay the bills, but even then I can't do it. Some people can compromise like that. I can't do it. Um, if I had to, I wouldn't. I can't. I tried. I can't. I can't. I'd rather live in a hut. But, I'm married and I got a family, so they don't agree. But I still can't compromise. So I had to deal with that tension. It's very, very difficult and very painful to be rubbed up against that because, well, I'm a man. I'm supposed to act like this. Or I'm a business owner. I'm supposed to act like this. Or I'm an entrepreneur, an original kind of entrepreneur. And I've got to act like this. And I found that didn't work for me, following all those lanes. And the idea of the two Marks, Mark Andreessen, Zuck, and Elon, and I say feels like middle school kids finally invited to the party. It reminds me of me and how difficult it was for me because middle school was not only a train wreck, but I turned into a criminal. And I ended up at a junior college, and it's a long story, and I've told it, and I have no concerns about telling it. I'm not proud of it as much as just I'm happy about it. It's like this made me who I am. I'm an early adopter. I got out of the society's thinking and structures really early. So I'm like, good way to go, Larry. If other people can't understand that, I can't make them understand. And I think these guys are like this too. All three of them. But the middle school thing has to be healed. So I reworked that over the last few years. So going back in my stories of being separated, of being rejected a lot, but winning too, being on a state championship football team and hating everybody on the team and wanting to throw my helmet at the coach when he bullied his son. I got all the stories. It's endless. The science fair where I got a third place, even though I had a really cool original idea. And I spent almost a year breeding guinea pigs in my bedroom. And then people are like telling my mom, well, I'm not allowed to play with you anymore. Everyone thinks you're too weird. And then I'm like, I'm not doing that anymore. I'm going to do something else. How about drugs? That'll be fun. So I did that. To me, it's all fine. But that disconnection from yourself emotionally, the middle school stuff, and eventually you got to deal with it. So for me, it came late. How do I connect to other people? How do I connect to myself emotionally? How do I release? Not even release. Now I've learned you don't just release this stuff because that's what I was doing with the energy stuff I was doing back in my 20s. And then I have a long story with all this inner development, personal growth, mindset work. I started early adopter. So I roll through all these things and I have been ever since, like I've done with business development and entrepreneur stuff. So within that, over the last year, the ability we have to do an update of our own software is mind-blowing. It's incredible how it's possible by just feeling stuff you don't want to pay attention to, that transmutes into creative energy, and that the shortcuts of putting family first, connecting within my own family, looking at what's going on in my own backyard and not chasing things and being like these guys, which I never thought I could, being like these guys. I didn't thought I could be like, they're surfers. They want to go hang out, have fun, design cool shirts. That's so foreign to me from the intensity that I bring. And it feels great to let some of that go, but it has to be transmuted and managed. The energy has to be managed constantly. It's very challenging. But the middle school stuff, it's got to get dealt with eventually to be able to serve the market, to be in the market and allow other people a seat at the table, not to put them in the factory working for you and yelling at them or being nice to them or whatever you're doing. It doesn't make any difference. It's the creative energy of the crowd. We've learned this for years. This is the online data thing. This is Google started with this wisdom of crowds. PageRank from Larry Page. PageRank. The crowd votes on the best content. That was the whole idea of Google, and it worked at first. And even with the business model and the ad network stuff, it still worked. And now it doesn't anymore. So it's like, what's next? Well, it's turning into people are searching on chat because the Google data set's in there anyways. Or I would say get a good local network, local community groups. You're going to find the best plumber, real estate agent. Not okay. I'm getting off track. Dad trumps them. They work for Trump. They don't realize that yet. Bashing skulls together, they're going to find out. Bashing skulls together feels more like what's happening than a fun festival for kids. Running an entrepreneur experiment in an area you don't know that much about in the federal economy at scale in the United States is going to be an interesting experiment to see how this goes. So if I appoint myself the prime mover, that's not how it works. I don't think that's what Ayn Rand meant. I haven't read the whole book because it's 1,000 pages and I don't have time, but I think I get it. But I probably don't completely. It takes a long time to absorb this. But I don't appoint myself the prime mover. That's not how it works. The designation comes from an inner advantage and being, not becoming yourself. And when I said leaving school, and I spelled it like Alex Ramosie's company Skool. Because it just fit. And so the idea of leaving school means I'm paying attention to what I know. That's the prime mover advantage. You can't be a prime mover and follow somebody around and then learn how to be a prime mover from them. It's an inner directed, stubborn, screw you attitude. That's a prime mover. Now, to me, the idea of the prime mover in 1950s is very different from the attitude of the prime mover today because the society's evolved. And I even see them trying. I see Andreessen trying. I don't see Elon Musk trying, but I see Zuckerberg trying on Facebook. They're actually trying to clean it up. I don't know if they're going to be able to pull it off. There's a problem with the model, the economic model. But the key is inner advantage. Not that I'm special, but that everyone is special. That's the mistake from a lot of people is being includes service. There is no one who's more special than anyone else. And we think we're special because the society validates specialness and measures it based on measurable outcomes. And I've never believed that, but I've gotten caught up in it like everybody else. I have to be popular. I have to have made more money than someone else, or I have to follow this playbook of, I'm calling them technology founder mode, which is take money so you get more money from me. Financial founder mode, be part of a roll up or profit from roll ups of other people's real companies. That's 2. 3, popularity founder mode, which is get other people to think you know, and then they'll follow you. And you can monetize that. So I'm like, those 3 models don't work for me. So flexible founder mode is about includes service. So the pathways of service are highly profitable. So this is a belief system of confusion around I have to choose between serving humanity and prosperity as it unfolds inside me, which includes money and getting what I want. That's not true. These are highly profitable pathways, but it's necessary to follow some of the rules, not the society's rules, the laws and principles of reality that have always existed. And humility, the ways of humility, that's one of them. The ways of humility, that's not a societal creation or construct. The ways of humility is a law. And then connecting circles, not climbing hierarchies. And there is law underneath this in math, fractal math, of connecting circles and not climbing hierarchies. And that amazed me when I really saw it mathematically. And the math concept is called fractals. So the idea of flexible founder mode means structure around laws and principles and mechanisms within a group of people that all have expertise in all of the necessary domains around the shared desire adopted by that group. In my case, it's entrepreneur, freedom, satisfaction, and happiness, which includes having enough money to do what you want, live the way you want, having the right business structure that works for you, not for somebody else, but for you, and being able to do it in a way where you want to do it. That's flexible founder mode. And I can't deliver that. That's why the red pill pathway is my contribution, 136th of the entrepreneur experience platforms globally as well as local groups. I can't explain this. I need help. That's the point. I use every single person in the group all the time because I can't do this by myself. It's too complex today. My goal is to offer this to anybody in the world who wants it, that doesn't have to have a prime mover designation from the society of, oh, you get to be one of us now because you're one of the smartest ones, and we're going to pluck you out of the herd and take your creative energies and abilities and analytical thinking and magical creations, and we're going to take as much money out of your pocket as we can, but you get to be one of us. So that's technology founder mode writ large, for sure. And right now, it's investment strategy based, integrated in with the popularity founder mode contests online. It's all coming together like this. And I watch it and I'm like, I don't want that to fall on my head. And I want cool t-shirts that I like. So I want to band together with people who don't want that stuff. So who is this for? You decide. If you want to go down those three roads, go with them, not me. Or don't talk to me, hang out with one of the other people in our group. No, that's not fair. That's wrong. That's divisive. So I'm being divisive again. That's not true. That's not really what I want. I want everyone to see what I'm seeing in the society. That's what I want. I can't explain it. So I get off track all the time because I'm trying to force an explanation. That's why I need to get help from people in our own group, which I'm doing today and I did last night. It's absolutely critical to be visible. And if you want to become a popular influencer and that's your road to visibility, you should do that because it fits you. It's who you are. And you should be able to do that in our group. I shouldn't be standing in your way if that's what you want to do at all. If you want to take money from founders, Andreessen Horowitz or whatever, you should be able to come in our group too and learn maybe the other pieces of it that they don't understand, the inner development stuff. And trust me, they don't understand it. They know how to make money though, and they know how to place the right bets on talent, and they'll give you a big cut of it, but they don't understand the inner development stuff. They're going to grind you to a pulp because that's how they think, because they're in these old models. So I want to make this less divisive, which is hard for me because I have trouble explaining it a lot of the time. Learn how to escape from, not run away from, the middle school prime mover giants. That's it. I want to escape from, not run away from. So I had this feeling of, I got to shut them out of my life. And I don't want to do that because I like a lot of the stuff they're saying and doing. But I don't want that to pollute the chocolate in my own chocolate factory. Then I'm definitely not the Willy Wonka, but I'm with a whole bunch of Willy Wonkas that are all originals doing their own original Willy Wonka kind of thing. And we don't have any Oompa Loompas. We're all Oompa Loompas and Willy Wonkas at the same time. So what I see them doing is they're running a strange mutated version of Godzilla versus Mothra in a cage match on, I'm calling it Facebook and X, to please their boss. It's kind of true. In some ways it is true. They're trying to please their boss. His name is Trump. It's got to be in their mind, whether it's conscious or not. They're thinking about when they say something, they're in a Godzilla versus Mothra cage match at court. And it's a strange mutated version of that story. Japanese cartoon movies or whatever from the, when was that? 60s, 70s? All that goofy stuff came out from Japan. Imports. Yeah, remember Japanese imports? That was one of them. My mother wouldn't let me watch Speed Racer. She's like, the cartoon's terrible. And I'm like, I want to be like Speed Racer. I don't care. And went to my friend's house to watch it. She couldn't stop me. That's when we had just had TV, believe it or not. We had a time where there was just TV. And even before that, there was just radio. Being able to do what you want in your own way and get what you want out of it is the point of life anyways. And I personally feel, for me, being inside a hierarchy created by somebody else won't get me there. And a lot of other people will make that compromise for a really long time until they get pushed off the ledge. And when you get pushed off the ledge, there's a lot of people looking to catch you. And I call that the how to improve yourself industry. And anybody who's teaching how to do this, how to do that, there's a hidden agenda there, always. And it's hard for people who haven't had enough experience in it to see the difference between what I'm talking about. Be at the table, share your experience, be an adult in the room with a bunch of other adults in the room who are trying to figure things out together, but people who are expert in the different domain areas with humility. Like, I'm an expert in the business sessions. Not me, but someone else. Versus technology, versus brand, versus business development, versus money prosperity, versus, not versus, but together, relationship clarity. All those things together are important. And pulling them together quick leads to fast acceleration. And this is how these people are doing it who've succeeded big. They've been doing it like this for years. They have millions of coaches and they're the best in the world. And you couldn't get Tony Robbins out on a stage without his energy coach. He'd fall apart. Even Zuckerberg's got an energy coach now. I watched him on TV, on Facebook. It is kind of like Facebook. It's still a fake. They're trying to make it real, but I don't know. Good luck. Maybe you can get there, but I'm like, you got an energy coach. I know what he's doing. I've been doing that stuff since I was 26 years old. I've been working on myself in that way for years. It's hard to find people who know what they're doing. We've got them. I won't let anybody into this thing as a teacher in a role, a founder role, that doesn't know what they're doing, because I don't want that on my conscience. I've been a work in progress in a lot of cases where I'm figuring out and running experiments, and I've given money back to people. And I don't want to have to do that ever again. And I don't want it as part of my legacy. My karmic pattern, cause and effect karmic pattern, is everything, is getting that clean and clear and right for me. I don't want to be part of stuff that doesn't work right because the person's figuring it out, but I let them in because they're popular and they can bring millions of dollars with them or a big audience. Like, I won't take the shortcut. And I tried that for a couple of years and it didn't work for me at all. And I think it was a good thing it didn't, or I'd still be doing it. That company was called Revenue Climber. And then it was there was another one later, Solopreneur Inc. And I'm like, thank God that didn't. There's a lot of moments where I look and I'm like, I could have had so much money. I would never have had to work again if I kept going. And I didn't. I stopped. And I'm like, I can't finish this because I don't want what's coming next, which is success in that model, in that hierarchical structure that I adopted as mine. It was a mode for me to get where I am now. And the idea of connecting circles, not climbing hierarchies, to me is the biggest piece of how this really works. Real life works. So when the hierarchies flatten and everyone, regardless of their experience, money, or time in the hole, is asked, tell me what you see. What's your experience? Tell me your story. I'm listening. There is a energetic core, a kernel at the center of that business that expands. And then other people can come into it on their own terms when they're ready. But you're not forcing them in. You can't, because if you do, there's a corruption in that code. It's not good code. And any software developer understands this. It's like you got to do or writer. Anybody in a creative field knows what I'm talking about. It's honing, crafting, refining, and getting the kernel right. That's the hard part, because around you, everyone is saying, it's not working, it's not working, it's not working, usually including your own spouse. And standing in the fire of that long enough is what leads to the ability to be able to do that and actually deliver and finish on what you're